All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We'd like to welcome everybody to the May board meeting of the Springdale School District. Thank everybody for coming out. We have a packed agenda. Should be fun. May is always a fun board meeting. But we'd like to start our meeting off with Luis Flores. If you want to go ahead and come to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Stand. All right, welcome.
Well,
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll see if the board has any questions for you.
So I'm a senior at Archer Learning Center. I live with my two parents and my two younger sisters. And I barely moved to Archer 3 months ago. And honestly, for me, it's been the best. I went to Springdale High School before, and honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was preparing myself for in the future. But once I moved to Archer, once I got a special connection with the teachers and everything, like I just found out what I wanted to do in the future. I love my teachers. They have a special connection with me. Like I can't. I'm proud of myself and proud of them because they taught me to be the man who I am right now, and they taught me the things I need to know in life. And I like to give a big shout out to my JAG teacher, because like how I said, I didn't know what I was going to do in the future. And now with my JAG teacher, he helped me out a lot. He gave me advice, and I got myself a job with Mars Electric. And honestly, that school couldn't be better for me. And I really love these guys. What I love the most is the special connection with the teachers. Well, once I got there, I moved there, I was scared. I was scared to interact with anyone, but I met Mr. French here, and he changed my mindset to be a different guy. And from there, all the teachers that are there, I have a special connection with them. And if anything goes wrong, you could go to any teacher there, and they'll just give you the best advice they can in life. And that's what I really appreciate about that school. And I love these guys.
So what schools did you go through in Springdale?
So for kindergarten and third, I went to Sonora Elementary. Third to fifth, I went to Parson Hills. And then I went to Sonora Middle School, Lakeside, Springdale, and then Archer.
So tell us a little bit about the Mars Electric. Do you know what you're going to be doing there? Or?
Yeah. So hopefully I get my journeyman.
Okay.
So I'm going to be studying for 4 years to get my journeyman. To get a residential, I just got to do 2 years, but I'm going for that journeyman's certification.
Good.
And well, like how I said, Nick Rhodes is my guy, because he's the one that helped me out with everything.
Yeah.
He helped me out to get what is it called? The job, to help me find the people and the right people to contact with. And yeah.
So he helped you get your job with Mars?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He helped me out very much.
Awesome.
Because I didn't even know what I was going to do after high school. I planned to graduate and try to see where life took me, but I talked with Mr. Rhodes about an opportunity, and he's like, take this opportunity at Mars. And I took it, and I ended up getting the job.
That is awesome. You got a future now, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about what the journey is into being a journeyman, getting that licensure?
So first, I got to go between I'd have to work. I'd have to work during the day, and then on a Wednesday, I think they told me on a Wednesday I would have to go to school for about 4 years to get the journeyman. Once I complete the school of 4 years, I get my journeyman certification. And if I complete 2 years, I get my residential certification.
Feels good to have purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Good.
it was real good.
Anybody else? Board? Good.
Great job.
Yep, congratulations. Right, so next we will move to the minutes from the board meeting. I'm sorry, we'll do the agenda for the meeting.
Yeah, there are no changes.
You can do it here.
Yeah. No changes?
No, sir.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion by Ms. Creek and a second by Mr. Hutchinson. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Agenda passes. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Any changes to that, Dr. Cleveland?
No, sir.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Ramos and a second by Mrs. Creek to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Dr. Cleveland?
Okay. Well, I know we have a lot of retired teachers to get to introduce this evening, but we always try to get the kids up front, celebrate the kids early. So the first celebration tonight is for the Don Tyson School of Innovation Robotics team, the VEX Robotics team, sponsored by Miss Emily Cook. I think I saw her. There she is. Would you mind to come forward, Miss Cook, and introduce your team and talk about the World Championship? Come over here if you like.
Trying to make this aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, well, first of all, I want to thank you all for carving out some time for us to come and speak. Dr. Cleveland, thank you. You know, it's always an exciting thing to come and highlight students and celebrate their accomplishments. And what I want to do is, first of all, talk about these students. And you can see on the screen up here, we have a few of their future aspirations. I went through and I asked the students, like, what do you all want to do when you grow up? And you can see that every one of them, without their knowledge, they didn't know that everyone chose essentially a field in engineering, something related to that. I get a lot of questions when people ask me about robotics, so like, what is that? You know, like battle bots, or do you all get in there and fight? Unfortunately, that's not the case because it is really expensive, and what we use is really expensive. But I just, you know, I'm really proud of this group of kids and what they've done. They've overcame some adversity to come together as a group and to really make it to just the absolute highest level that you can make it with competitive robotics. And so we have these students, we have Charles, Colin, Noah, Christiana, Joseph, Krish, Lauren, and Lotus. And you can see up there their roles on the team and what they did. I also get a lot of questions about what is VEX Robotics World? What does that mean? And I have a lot of pictures up here and I have a lot of words, but really what you can pull from this is it's a really big deal. It was taking place in Dallas in a convention center, probably large enough to house like a yacht convention, a mile long. There were over 20,000 students and spectators there to see, and it's sponsored by some of the largest companies in the United States. And you can see at the bottom left-hand picture, we've got our boy Joseph. He just threw up 31 pull-ups, and he was getting actively recruited by the Navy. He was like, have you ever heard of the Navy SEALs, son? And, you know, of course we have. And then the university teams, there's the university collegiate level. I honestly just pulled all the teams that I recognized from the SEC. There were other teams such as, you know, Michigan and Purdue, but Arkansas doesn't play them very often, so I just left them off. And then what does it take to get there? You know, a lot of people don't understand the amount of work and effort that goes into robotics, competitive robotics, and what that looks like and what that means, but there's a lot of moving pieces. And, you know, our competitions happen not on a grassy field, they happen on a foam tile field. But the pieces that go into this, we have a lot of computer science with, and I'm gonna try not to nerd out too much, but when it comes to the computer science aspect, a lot of the robotics that we use and our programmers here is autonomous, it's self-driving, it's self-guided. And we use these different sensors to essentially allow the robot to sense the world around it. And as it gains inputs from the world around it, you can use just a lot of math to essentially triangulate where the robot is at on the field using the XY coordinate plane. And if you get it sophisticated enough, you can actually push it off its track and it will find its way back to where it was originally supposed to be. And that's what the odometry and the inertial sensors do. We also use GPS sensing, which allows us to, from a top-down view, get very, very precise in the triangulation of the robot on the field. And then getting into the design and documentation, everything is done digitally first before we transition over into the actual building phase. So the engineering design process, everything that goes into that is a lot of work. But anyway, I just wanted to highlight these students and what they've done and the things that they've accomplished. And it's my hope that if in the future we continue to have the competitive robotics class, I'm sure all of these students would be more than excited to sign up for it. But that pretty much, you know, that's my piece. I appreciate you all giving us their time, and if you have any questions for these students, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to talk to you.
Any questions? What was y'all's favorite part of your experience? What was the best part of your experience? Anybody?
Probably one of mine is talking to the colleges at World. One of the most notable was Embry-Riddle. I was talking to them regarding mechanical engineering.
Okay.
It's really cool to start setting up my future and with World.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Anybody else?
So what grade level are y'all? Like, are you seniors, juniors?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore.
Yeah, we're kind of a sophomores. I think, well, this is 7th grade.
It ranges from 7th grade to 10th grade.
Yeah, 7th grade now.
Wow. So talking to colleges in 10th grade that's great.
Well, congratulations. We're super proud of you guys. You represented the district very well, and just congratulations. Good job.
A lot of future talent right there. Mr. Taken, I'd like to invite you to the podium as well. Introduce your team.
Awesome. Well, hello, board. Thank you for having us. We are HAR-BER from Hellster Middle School, and this is the red team, and this is the gold team. You could probably tell from our colors on our shirts. And we're really excited to be here. So I just want to take a second and brag on these students. They're almost all here. We have a couple missing tonight, but we do have 20 total students in our program, both 6th and 7th graders. Some of them are new to robotics. Some of them are returners to our program, or some of them have been on teams in the past. This year, both teams made an appearance at the state championship, and we're super proud of how they did there. We overcame a lot of different challenges this year and just grew a lot throughout the whole process in our robot game and on our projects. So I'll let them talk in a moment, but you've probably heard me talk before about what First LEGO League is. It's the organization that we are a part of that we compete in, similar to VEX, but a different organization. So First LEGO League really has 3 phases to it, or 3 sections of the competition, I should say. One is what you might think of with competitive robotics. We build and program an autonomous robot and have it compete in a robot game, very much like a sporting event. And when I say we, I mean they. I just facilitate and watch them do cool things and buy the Legos. So it is a partnership with the Lego company. So if you're thinking about Legos, what most people hear when I say I coach a Lego robotics team is they're like, oh, that's sweet, you build Legos. But it is a whole different line of Legos. It is a technical, mechanical line of Legos, and they have sensors and programming very similar to what you just heard DTSOI's team talking about. So my students are programming in a programming language and building a robot that completes tasks autonomously to win different points. You can see that in the bottom right picture, what the robots might look like. The second part of the competition is what's called the project. So the project is a long-term research project that has no clear answers and no clear task to do. There's a theme every year where students have to identify a problem that the world faces in that theme and then create an innovative solution for that. And they design, build, test, and share that solution with experts in the field. So this year's theme was called Masterpiece. It was about the merging of arts and sciences, and so really exploring STEAM essentially. And I'll let the students talk about what their projects were. And then the last part of our competitions is what's called core values. And it's the idea of character and collaboration, really. So it's the idea of looking at what engineering really looks like and really what 21st century jobs look like and say, hey, 21st century employees have to be able to collaborate, have to be able to work together, and have to be able to solve problems in creative and new ways. So it's building those skills and them presenting on that. So not only do they compete in the robot game, but they also have a 30-minute presentation and Q&A process where they share with judges and explain their work. So I'm going to pass the mic for a second to some students and hand it over to them. Excuse me. Oh, wait, I'm going to start with red team. My bad. Excuse me. And this is Kaylee. Oh, I should probably introduce people. This is Jackson. This is Peter, Nathan, Emma, Blair, Drake, Caden, Daryl, Abdel, Beckett, Kate, Addison, so sorry, and Kaylee. Not here tonight are Will, Sergio, Allie, help me out if I'm skipping someone, Campbell, and Charlotte, thank you, and Brady, thank you. So I'm going to hand it over to Kaylee. She's going to talk about the Red Team's project.
Okay, so our project was called TAP, and it stands for the Accessible Piano. And we made it's a device that we made for people that have a passion for playing the piano, but can't necessarily play it, maybe because of like an amputated hand or a broken hand or coordination, like lost or something like that. So it's a device that has buttons, and when you press a button, it clicks a chord on the piano, and with different chords, you can play different songs. So, yeah.
And then this is Caden.
My favorite part about this year is probably going to the competition and showing the judges what we can do. And because we've worked very hard all year on making not only a robot, but a working project that can help tons of people. And going to show them what we can do and showing everyone there that we've worked hard is really fun. And
And then I'm going to hand it over to the gold team as well. So these students are in two different classes. So the red team is in its own class, the gold team is in its own class. They technically compete against each other, and that's always really fun, but they also get to collaborate some as well.
So for the gold team, our project was PTB, which stands for Project Timble. And it was a project, and we got the idea from a Magic 8-Ball. So it was a handheld device that you could like play around with, but there was like a screen on it, and it would help you connect with other cultures, because we found that there was many disconnections between cultures and like some problems and like disrespect in some ways. So we thought that it would be a cool idea and something we could work on to help people like collaborate. And yeah.
And then I'm going to hand it over to Nathan as well.
So, my favorite thing about HAR-BER is developing and building on the robot. So at the start of the year, like most of us didn't have any knowledge on how to build a robot, but eventually we got better and better and made a very advanced robot using different techniques that you learn throughout the year. And the thing I learned the most is teamwork and collaboration, while like hearing other people's ideas that are different from mine and combining them together.
Awesome. Yeah, if you have questions, we'd love to hear them. But I just want to close with saying, when they're describing it, you just can't even picture how great the projects really are. I mean, both of these cases, they are programming in Python, building the actual mechanics of it from scratch, the ideas from them, the development, them reaching out to experts. It's really, really incredible stuff. And I'd put any of these students in front of anybody in the world to brag about how great they are. And I'll just say, for me, if I can say this fully without tearing up, this is my last year coaching robotics, and it's been a huge part of my career in Springdale Public Schools for 8 years, and I'm just really, really thankful for the opportunity because we've gotten to do really incredible things. I've gotten to see really amazing students, so thank you for the chance to get to do this in our district. It's been really, really exciting. Do you have any questions for my students?
How many competitions are there?
Yeah, go for it.
First competition we did, it was qualifiers, and that was at Bernice Young Elementary. Then about 11 teams, I think, from that competition. There's multiple qualifiers at different places. 11 teams from each place qualified onto state, and so we did 2 competitions, but there's one team from state that made it to world, and yeah. And we didn't make it that far, but we made it state. We did 2.
Good job. Good job. Great job. Anybody else? Parents here? Any parents?
Some of the parents are.
Parents want to stand up? We forgot to do that with the SOI group. So we'll do it with you guys.
I'm glad you did that because our robotics parents are the best. So they're amazing humans. So
Congratulations. Good job. Thanks for being here.
thanks, y'all. We appreciate it.
Just for those people who are worried about Mr. Tate leaving the district, he's not. He's taking a different role in the district. Proud of you. Okay, there's some seats here if anybody that's standing would like to sit. Now is, this year at this time, it's always bittersweet because we recognize educators who've given their lives to children, and given their work and home life to children that's not their own most of the time. They spend more hours at a school than they do in their own home, and most of the time raising other people's children. So recognizing you tonight is only a small piece of what we should do. Recognizing you tonight is something that you earned and something that we want to say thank you for. So I'm going to go through the list of teachers we have at this particular moment. 29 educators that are calling it a career. They may retire to something, I'm not sure. But hopefully it's retiring to something, maybe coming back later. I'm going to do it in a couple of different ways if it's okay with the group and okay with the board. I believe that I have everyone listed, highlighted, and I would like to go through the highlighted names first, and then at the end, then I will read the names of the people who are retiring and couldn't make it. Is that okay? Is that okay with you? We do have one administrator retiring, Don Eichenberger. And Don, I'll let you go first or last. What would you prefer? Okay. Don Eichenberger.
I was kind of taken aback a minute ago when Dr. Cleveland said, no more than 2 minutes. And I'm saying, do you want me to talk? And he said, yes. And I remember back to the day I got hired as an administrator. He said, Don, you got 3 rules. Number 1, don't open your mouth. Number 2, if you do have to open your mouth, don't say very much. And number 3, if you do have to talk, call Dr. Smith first.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
It was on my phone for several years, and I was reminded. In June of, and then just off the top of my head, just briefly, in June of 1990, I didn't even know where Springdale was. And then 2 months later, I knew I'd do this. Here we go. Sorry. We loaded up the van. We moved here. Best decision I ever made. 34 years here And it's been a great, they haven't all been great days, but they've been really, really good days. It's the best thing for my, oh yeah. Yeah, I remember 1993, I think we only won 5 games. That wasn't a good year. Next year was a lot better though. So, but it's been a great opportunity to enter a mission field and to give for one's life and dedicate to, and I appreciate every minute, and I'm honored you let me work here for as long as you have. So, although this is the end of this road, I'm excited about getting on the next one and finding other ways that I can serve the city of Springdale and the students of Springdale. So, any questions? I said I'd be us in 2 minutes.
Thank you for all you've done.
Hey, thank you, man. It's been my honor and it's been my privilege to work with so many of the people. There are a lot of people in this room that had as students or played for me, and hopefully I didn't warp you too much.
But you were there for me through some of my rough days with my students, and
Yeah.
I'm very grateful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, but thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
Get on the X.
Hey, Don. Yes, sir. Before you do leave, I want to tell you, if I said that, it was said out of pure love. My wife and I both love you.
Good job.
He tends to embellish. He did a great job. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Eichenberger. Okay, we're going to start alphabetically tonight. We have Miss Kelly Bernard from elementary school, 31 years in the district and 31 total years teaching. Awesome. Next, from Springdale High School, 31 years in the district, 34 years teaching, Miss Linda Button.
Congratulations. Great job.
From Ayari Elementary School, 34 years in the district, 34 years total teaching, Miss Vicki Campbell. From Central Junior High, 24 years in the district, 24 years total teaching, Miss Cindy Corneliuson. From Hellstern Middle School, 30 years in the district, 33 years total, Miss Sherry Durley Dyer. From Southwest Junior High, 28 years in the district, 28 years total teaching, Mr. Joshua Granderson.
Scoot over just a tad.
From Har-BER High School, 18 years in the district, 18 total years in teaching, Ms. Lael Lynch. Also Also from Harbor High, 33 years in the district, 33 years total teaching, Ms. Lisa Mangum. From Hellstern Middle School, 10 years in our district, 14 years total teaching, Ms. Hope Matthews. Ms. Hope may have not been able to come. We will make sure that we get her a present. From Central Junior High, 34 years in the district, 34 years total teaching, Stacy McGaugh.
She was my science teacher.
From Smith Elementary School, 22 years in the district, 22 years total teaching, is Kathy Miller. From Lakeside Junior High, 11 years in our district, 33 years total teaching, is Margaret Moore, or as we like to call Margaret. From J.O. Kelly Middle School, 26 years in the district, 29 years total teaching, Scarlett Morris. From Sonora Middle School, 37 years in the district, 37 years total teaching, Ms. Teresa Murphy. From Hellstern Middle School, 16 and a half years in the district, 25 total, Ms. Nancy O'Brien. From Walker Elementary School, 32 years in the district, 32 years total, is Teresa Bulliger. From Rollins Elementary School, this may be our first retiree from Rollins ever, I'm not for sure. 16 years in the district, 16 years total teaching, Ms. Gloria Passman. From Har-BER High School, 28 years in the district, 28 years total, Mr. John Stewart. From Bernice Young Elementary School, 20 years in the district, 38 years total teaching, Ms. Karen Swally. I saw Joy. From Rollins Elementary School as well, 10 and a half years in the district, 26 and a half total, Ms. Joy Sawyer. Is Joy here? Okay, we do have some more retiring. I'd like to read their names if it's okay. And then at the end, if they're watching, we'll give them a round of applause. From Helen Tyson Middle School, Miss Melody Ball, 20 years in the district, 29 total years teaching. From Elmdale, 20 years in the district, 29 total, Miss Lisa how do I say it? Caldwell, sorry. Miss Caldwell, if you're out there, I didn't mean to. What's your name? From Central and HAR-BER, 11 years in the district, 17 years total teaching, Dr. Kathy Hall. From Springdale High School, Lawana Helwig, 21 years in the district, 22 total. From Elmdale, 12 years in the district, 27 total, Miss Stephanie Hines. From Springdale High School, a counselor, 10 years in the district, 39 and a half total, Diane Hinton. Miss Kathleen Johnson from Springdale High School, 31 years in the district, 37 total years teaching. From HAR-BER High School, 22 years in the district, 38 and a half years total, Miss Sandra Jones, or Coach Sandra Jones. And I believe that is our full list. If we missed anybody, we'd equally apologize, but this is the list as we know it today. Oftentimes that list grows. Sometimes teachers don't want to be brought in front of the board and to be recognized. But I tell you what, from my perspective, you deserve every accolade you've ever received, and you deserve every honor from this point forward. You do what a lot of people can't, and that is teach students. So thank you so much. And board, if you'd like to address them at all, I don't want to take all the time, but thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, families. If you're a family member, would you stand up too? Because you're teaching too. All right. You're ever much as part of this district as your spouse or your parent. So, anyway, thank you so much. I think that concludes.
Get out of the way. Congratulations. Good job. Have fun.
I wouldn't do it to you either. Oh, God, yeah. Congratulations, yeah. Bye-bye.
That cleared the room out. Yeah.
I'm gonna come out and get a picture. Everywhere, in all fairness.
Thanks.
Enjoy your time. Good luck.
Have a good evening.
Mr. Emerson, or okay.
That's part of the agenda's coming up.
Yeah, we have. I'd like to introduce Miss Hutton. If you'll come forward, Miss Hutton. That's
The myth, the legend.
Miss Hutton has gone on a nationwide search to find a new assistant principal, and she found the tallest.
Yes, I did.
She found the tallest, and one that we know and love. Ms. Hutton, would you like to introduce your new assistant?
I certainly would. Everyone, my new assistant principal, or our new assistant principal at Elmdale is Mr. Pete.
Didn't stay away.
Yeah.
Hackenberg only got 2 minutes.
You can have the most.
Oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, I never clear with Dr. Smith. That's fine. Yeah, I'm speechless. This is phenomenal. I want to thank Dr. Cleveland and obviously just phenomenal getting to come back. It was tough leaving. I wanted to go try new things and see if you can hack it outside of the beautiful world of Springdale School District. And had a great experience, learned a lot of things, got to meet a lot of people, and made a lot of friends outside in southwestern Washington County. So, and then when the opportunity came back to come back to Springdale, I knew this was home. I wanted to work with kids and with individuals that were part of my community, and someplace that I've been fortunate and blessed to work with and live for a very long time. So I want to thank you all for the opportunity, and I hope I can live up to the expectations, because it's been pretty overwhelming, the reception I've got. So thank you.
Welcome back home.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Hutton told me about your reception. Even the kindergartner said, "Hello, Mr. James." That's fantastic. Well, we're glad you're back. Okay, just to conduct a little business, we have our high school principals here and their team to talk about our graduation ceremony, which is going to be for Archer on Friday and for the other 3 schools Saturday. So I'd like to invite those teams up. I believe we have Archer Learning Center first on our list, so Dr. Davis, would you mind? Springdale will be next.
Hello, how y'all doing? So, I think y'all have a packet that just goes through, I guess I need to use the microphone. I think you have a packet that just goes through exactly what graduation should look like for us Friday night. Honestly, you've done it before. It'll be the same. It'll be the biggest party you've ever been to. So we're looking forward to a great turnout. In the packet, I'll just point out a couple quick things real fast. We're getting ready for tomorrow. You look on page 1. It's after the table of contents and such. It's page 1. It's an invitation. Tomorrow is our celebration. We're really excited about all of our seniors that are graduating, and so we'll talk about scholarships and job placement and all those fun things tomorrow. And then, of course, graduation's Friday night at 7. On the next page, there's just an agenda for tomorrow, so you can see what we're doing. If you want, we're having breakfast in the morning with the families, and then the awards program doesn't start until 11:30. Then on page 3, that's a walkthrough that just kind of shows you what the night will look like for graduation evening. We ask that you guys try to arrive around 6:30, which is just 30 minutes before it starts. It's just enough time for you to have a few quick refreshments, us kind of relax a little in the back. We'll be in the same room we've always been in, that band room in the back, and then we'll line up and go inside. It will be the same almost as it's always been, except for one small difference. This year, we don't normally have a speaker at graduation, a student speaker, and so we worked with Trent Jones's team, and we have put together a video, and I just want you to know, I just saw it today, the finished product. It is phenomenal. And so we will start with this video, with students talk a little bit about their experience at Archer, and you actually won't see it. You'll see it in the back before it starts. We'll play it for you guys back in the back room, because it will play, it'll be the very first thing that plays, and then the processional will begin. And so then we'll all come in. We kind of went back and forth about how to do that, and it just because the screen is behind you where you're sitting, it's not easy for you to watch it. So we'll watch it in the back before the ceremony, and then we'll come out just right after it plays, and then the ceremony will look just like it's always looked. We'll do everything we've always done. The next page, that's just a little layout of what the graduation program will look like. We have a letter from the Springdale Police, as they'll be working security. Mr. Jodell Williams will be speaking this year at graduation. We always let the students choose a faculty member to give kind of like a faculty charge, and so he'll be there. Page 7, we're real proud of. We have focused a lot this year on after high school experiences. I know just a minute ago, Louise talked a little bit about going to Mars Electric, and you can see we've got lots of places that our kids will be going. We'll talk about more about that tomorrow as well. So that's listed there. I don't think that you'll need the map that's on the next few pages, but that's there in case you have any questions, like where you should park and those things. It might be raining Friday night, and so we'll have some staff members with umbrellas that will help you guys get in and hopefully stay dry. But other than that, unless y'all have questions.
What do our numbers look like? I know it changes day to day, hour to hour.
I knew you would ask.
Right now, just
I was
ballpark.
hoping no one would ask, but I mean, we're at about 120 right now, but I'm hoping that's going to be a much prettier number come Friday night. So tonight at midnight, everyone should be done. I mean, I say that. They're not going to all be done. But tonight at midnight's the deadline we've given them. So we'll see. So probably tomorrow morning, I'll know a little bit better about what Friday night looks like. Yeah. Anything else?
Look forward to it.
Okay, yeah. No, it's going to be a great time. We look forward to it. Yes,
Bring your
thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Springdale High School, Mr. Eichenberger, Jason Jones, whoever.
He's retired, he can't do that anymore.
Not done yet.
Not done yet. I proposed myself, we're ready to go. All right, if you look in your packet real quick, one noticeable change. If you look on the left side inside your packet, it's all the consumable stuff that you want to have. And I thought I'd do it like this because next year I've already been asked to be a reader at several elementaries, so we'll do it like this. So if you look on the left side here, here's your parking permit, which will work for all three graduations, okay? So you'll have that already. You don't have to tear it out. Here's your floor pass to get into Walton Arena. It worked for us in the harbor. You'll come in the front door today. I have greeters down there, and they'll escort you over to the elevator. We'll get you where you need to go, okay? Next page is just what the floor looks like, what everything's going on the floor. I just added that because I was really proud of cutting and pasting this map, and I wanted to show it off to somebody. So there you go. The other side is our traditional, and also there is our marching order in alphabetical order. As requested, we'll have that all ready for you. And if you have specific people in mind, if you'll please just let me know, I'll make sure that you all get hooked up, okay? We'll be in alphabetical order. We'll have our students with special needs will graduate, then our student council, and then all of our other students A through Z, okay? We have around 550 graduates. We have a lot of kids that are still working and trying to get to a position where they'll get a diploma at least by the end of the month. So that's how that goes. The rest is pretty much standard on the other side. It's our standard packet, including, if I would draw your attention to, I think it's page 5, the seating map. You'll gather, when you get there, would you please gather in the media room downstairs? We'll get you lined up in the hallway, and approximately 8:59. We'll line you up in the order that's order on here, and we will march out and get you seated. And probably at 9 o'clock, we'll begin our ceremony. Mr. Jones will step up and start that for us. And our ceremony running time is looking at about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. Okay? What questions might you have? I can answer these. Anything? Okay, it'll be a great time for us. We do have two, we don't have a traditional speaker again this year. We have two of our students, Ms. Jamie Aguilar and Lauren Smith, who will have brief remarks at the beginning of our ceremony, and we will have a recessional at the end. So we will seat them to begin with. That way we can ensure that we have the order thing all sorted out. And then we will have a recessional after the last one. Okay? All right.
Good.
If you have any questions, my telephone number's in there. Call me anytime, and we'll get it fixed up between now and Saturday morning. We hope to see you there bright and early. Oh, your parking is again in lot 62. It's on the east side of the front door of Bud Walton Arena. And it should be easy. I believe Arkansas may have got a regional, so there may be traffic across the street, but that'll be on the other side of Nolan Richardson Drive over at Boggle Park. Okay? All right. If you need anything, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
I don't think it's fair that I have to follow John Eichenberger. Big personality today. We're really excited to share that we have 677 graduates at HAR-BER High School. We're excited excited about this big group of kids and their accomplishments. If you skip over to page 1, it's some important event dates that we have here at HAR-BER High School coming up. We have graduation practice this Thursday. We are doing things a little bit differently, and on Friday morning we're having our senior award scholarship and ceremony. Page 11 is an invitation to that event for you all. There will be seats available for you on stage if you choose to take those, but even if you want to come and just be a spectator, we'd love to have you there if you're available. Our order of events is on page 2. This year we are going to have a processional in addition to the recessional at the end. We're excited about that opportunity. It's something our students and families have given feedback that they would like to have back, so we're going to give that a try. Other than that, we don't have any big changes from last year's event. Page 5 is our plan for our students with special needs. We have several seniors graduating this year that have some special needs, and our plan for that is to have them enter first. So they'll use side A, they'll cross all the way over to side B and exit. All but one of those students will have adult assistance. And we're looking forward to sharing in this opportunity with them. Following those students, we have a student who uses an electric wheelchair, and so he will be the first student from the floor seating to come up, but we will hold side B to allow that student to cross the full stage, and then both sides will continue. We have had a student that was recently in an auto accident, some extensive surgeries. He is progressing very well, and the family is not ready to make a decision on what this looks like for him yet. So whatever he needs Saturday, we will make happen. We have plans A, B, and C, and whatever we need to do is what we'll do. 6 and 7 are just diagrams of how the setup will look and where you all will be. Again, no real changes to that. Page 11 is, again, that scholarship and award ceremony invitation. If you're available, we would love to see you there. And then after that is our senior walking list. I have assigned names, but please feel free if there are students that you would like to stand up and shake hands with, or that you know personally, make any adjustments that you would like to make. The last page of the packet is the parking pass that Mr. Eichenberger just shared with you. It's the same for both schools, so not necessary to tear that out if you don't want to. Any questions about HAR-BER ceremony?
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you guys so much. We look forward to having you there. We appreciate your time. Good evening. I'm Shay Hopper from Don Tyson. So in our packet, like the other schools, we don't have any tremendous change this year, which we're grateful for. We like to just keep everything in order, but I will briefly go through everything. We are excited. This year is Miss Harrison's first year as our head principal for graduation, so we're excited for her opportunity to share her reflections on this year with our students and families and the administration and board. This Friday in the morning, we will rehearse and we will have our senior breakfast, and then our awards program, our recognition assembly, is on page 5, and that will be at 1:30 in the Performing Arts Center, and we will have reserved seating in the auditorium for Springdale administration as well as board members. If you're able to attend, we'd be honored to have you join us. So page 5 is the actual beginning of the invitation, and page 6 gives the agenda for recognition. On page 7, you will be shifting from Bud Walton to Barnhill. Those lots, if you remember from last year, are very small. You enter on the road between the HAR-BER, and there is a new parking deck if you've not been down there in a while. So as you are driving north on the road between the HAR-BER and what used to be just kind of some mishmash buildings, there's now an elevated football practice field and a garage below. So it looks a little bit different, but you access the same road, which is Meadow. Lots 45 and FS. FS is actually where you parked last year. They just renamed it, and I don't know why, but they renamed it. So you're gonna park in exactly the same place. We will have reserved parking with cones for board and admin, but I would encourage you to potentially consider carpooling from Bud Walton just to make it simpler. I'm knocking on wood that we have good weather Saturday, so that should not be an issue. On page 8, I've included the photos of where you enter. It will be the same place as last year. We will have a staff member at that door to greet you. You will go upstairs to the VIP room, same area that we were last year, but I included all that same information again. Page 9 is the layout of the arena. Everything is pretty much the same. All of your seats will be labeled with your names, and the most up-to-date information for graduation day will be on your seats. Page 10 just gives you details on how we flow through the arena. Page 11 is updated policies from the University of Arkansas for prohibited items. Page 12 begins our actual program for graduation day. Gives you the order of events on page 14. And then on page 16, I do want to bring your attention, this is something a little bit different this year. We do have a student who requires ADA access, and I have worked with his family extensively. They're wonderful and very excited about this big day. We are going to meet, the family and I are going to meet 8:30 Saturday morning at Barn Hill and individually rehearse and make sure that his seat is comfortable and everything he needs. The goal is for the student to be able to walk across the stage, and we're going to practice that and make sure that we're comfortable and everything works well, and if not, we'll go to our alternate plan, but just so you can read over that and be prepared. And on page 18, we are not having an individual student or guest speaker. We will have the choral reading like we did last year, which highlights several of our students who are in various pathways at our school. We will also have a special vocal performance this year from one of our students that we're very excited about. Page 19, 20, and 21 gives the to-the-minute details of the day, and that will be finalized Saturday morning. 22 is our recognition slideshow, and not to not give all the love and respect to Mr. Eichenberger and his awesome parking pass, but you do need a different parking pass for Barton Hill, so it's the very last page for you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Glass?
Well, you've had lots of wonderful celebrations, so now it's time for a little federal fun. So you have a slide that you can look at that has the information that I'm going to cover for you tonight. We have on the agenda for approval tonight the assurances, and these will be the federal program assurances that also this year will include the special ed assurances that Andy Ingram normally would be speaking to you about that occur typically in the fall. That has been moved up to this time frame. It has the GEPA statement that is in it that has typically been a part of our program applications that have been contained within the federal program applications that we've submitted to the state, as they've just been pulled out and put on our program applications this year. On April the 3rd, the State Department released a new program application process for school districts across the state, where they combined 17 different applications and put it all into one. We had about 15 different people in the district that was working on this application, and I think we've just finished it up and we'll be ready to submit once we have board approval and the minutes and everything, so that I can upload that all into Industar. In the blue side, you can see the different grants and state programs that have been pulled together into this unified application. That is one of the proclamations that the governor made on her first day, was that we would move to a unified application process. And so this is it. And then on the right in the gray are the programs that are still not included in this. Some of those are competitive grants that not every district applies for. The 1003 is a grant that is a different federal fund that not all districts get to apply for. And then the bottom part in the blue is just a sample from our strategic action plans. That is another thing that was due to the district on May the 1st. That those are all posted on our website. Each of the schools do a strategic action plan. The district's strategic action plan is out there as well. This, of course, will be a part of of what we do as a part of a strategic action plan, but the district has a different, more detailed action plan that contains our literacy plan as well. So what we're seeking is approval to sign. Dr. Cleveland will be signing, and then Andy Acup will be signing the assurances, because there's a whole section at the end that are all those special ed assurances in there as well. And then, of course, the approval of the AR app, which we will be uploading into InduStar, and then those school improvement plans.
There are lots of assurances.
And it's basically saying that we know that it's federal money, that we're spending the federal money according to the rules and regulations and to the Uniform Grant Guidance, which has just recently been revised. And I think it is just about finalized at this point, and that we'll follow all of that, as well as following each of the statutes for each of those funding sources. So everything under ESSA in the blue has a statute of its own at the federal level, with all of the details as far as how those are supposed to be governed.
We're fortunate to have Ms. Glass. She's one of the best in the country and has been recognized in that way. So thank you for all this work, along with Ms. Ingram as well.
Anybody have any questions? Good. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the AR app and the assurances. There's two separate things we need to do, right? So the AR app and the assurances for the first motion. I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson, a second by Mr. Ramos to approve the AR app and IDEA assurances. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, then we'll make a motion to approve the strategic action plans.
I have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson and a second by Ms. Creek to approve the strategic action plans as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Glass. Okay, now it comes to H, social media litigation. I've been approached by an attorney, a local attorney, about some litigation that's revolving around social media issues across the country. I talked to Ms. Clay about it a little bit, and I sent you all an email about the possibility. I know a local district next to us, Fayetteville, has entertained and I think entered the litigation. I didn't feel like it was I was not in a position to speak for you on whether we should enter or not enter into any kind of litigation. So I placed it on the agenda for you to discuss. I know in the past, you all realize the difficulties that young people with such a powerful tool can use that can create difficulties in their own personal life, at home, and at school. And oftentimes things happen outside of school that gets carried forward to school, and principals and teachers and everyone has to deal with it. So I just wanted to open it up to you. I know that you all have strong opinions on and should on the use of social media and telephones and those kinds of things. And I just wanted to be able to bring it to you and see what you had to say, whether I should explore it more, not explore it at all.
Does anybody have any?
I'm sorry,
You're good.
I'm here.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
So, I know it's maybe a long answer. What's the basis of their litigation?
I'm gonna ask. She knows some information, but my basic understanding, I haven't explored it. My basic understanding is that, and I hate to use names, but Instagram and Meta and whatever else, whatever other opportunities there are kids use. I know TikTok, and I don't have TikTok, don't know anything about it. But I do know that kids are able to communicate. Sometimes they don't communicate with one another effectively. And so it creates those issues. So the question may be better answered by our counselor.
Yeah, and I don't know that I have a really good answer yet. I've had just a very brief conversation with Fayetteville's attorney, and she talked a little bit about that they were joining the litigation. I know the basic premise is a lawsuit, nationwide lawsuit against social media companies for their practices and how they negatively impact schools by the way that they their product interacts with students and kids. I think it would be appropriate if you all agree at this point, maybe for me to do some more in-depth exploratory diving. Both I can have a conversation with Fayetteville, can have a conversation with the attorney that reached out to Dr. Cleveland to gather some more information about really what it's about and what it would mean for us as a district if we entered into the litigation. And then I could share that with you maybe at a work session or at a future meeting so that we can have some good information to weigh pros and cons on what that looks like.
So what are they asking for, like punitive damages or a change in?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just felt like it should be on the agenda for you to discuss, so we'll know which way to go.
I mean, I think it's good to find out more about it, but.
I agree. I think we should at least look at it, see what it's all about. If it's for us, we can jump in there. If it's not, then we can bow out. But we don't know what we're agreeing to or not agreeing to until you find out a little more about it, so.
Okay.
Yep. Anybody else? Kevin? Good? Yeah. All right, we'll just move forward with that.
Okay. I apologize if it was premature to put on the agenda, but. Okay, we just needed appropriate direction. Only way to get it from you is to put your own together, so. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, Ms. Fink. Dr. Smith, or it says Deputy Superintendent.
Good evening, board. I know Dr. Smith added this slide. We just wanted to let you know that we've done a lot of celebrating the last couple of weeks, or couple of months, April, May. You can see all the list of people we've been celebrating in our school district. I'm sure you've seen that in our communication department, pushing stuff out through social media. So, yay, team. Tonight, I am here to share with you briefly about an opportunity we had this year to apply for the High Impact Tutoring Grant. And I'll be honest, when we first applied, I was pretty skeptical. I didn't know what this was going to look like for us, but it actually ended up being a really awesome opportunity for Westwood Elementary. So just a little bit about the HIT grant. It emerged from the LEARNS Act, and it supports academic student achievement in grades K through 12. But it is during the day tutoring. So this isn't anything that happens before or after school, it's during the day. And all of the tutors have to come from an approved DESE vendor list. And so there is a list of tutors that schools can pick from to use during this high impact tutoring grant. One of the ways that you can become an approved tutor is they can use pre-service teachers, so students who are in colleges to become teachers, and current teachers or retired teachers can become eligible tutors by participating in the Arkansas Tutoring Corps program. And it's a training that trains them in a curriculum called Really Great Reading. So the University of Arkansas approached me and wanted to know if we would like to partner with them at Westwood Elementary. They had a pre-service senior level class that was meeting there weekly. And all of those students went through the Arkansas Tutoring Corps program and became certified tutors through the state of Arkansas. And they came into Westwood Elementary 3 days a week and worked with first grade students in accuracy and fluency. We were awarded $41,500 through the grant to cover tutor salaries, stipends, materials, supplies, and copy costs for decodable books. So one of the concerns that I had was we have our Phonics First program
And then we also had this really great reading program. And we wanted to make sure that there was an alignment. And so Westwood and the University of Arkansas and Liaison worked together to make that alignment. And as I mentioned, we worked on improving reading fluency and accuracy. So you can just see some pictures of what that looked like. Honestly, it was a win-win for everybody. Our university pre-service teachers were getting paid for 3 hours a week to come in and tutor students. And then our first grade students got to build relationships with college kids, which I think our first grade students thought was pretty cool. So the most exciting thing was at the end. We did this for 12 weeks, and the grant results that we got were pretty outstanding and amazing. So we collected 2 sets of data. We collected oral reading fluency data and map data. 42 out of 43 of our participating first grade students made accuracy growth on their assessment, and our range was anywhere from 6 to 78 points, with the average being about 45-point growth. All of our students made fluency growth on the ORF assessment, the range being 4 to 103 points, and I want to say the average was about 56-point growth that they made on that assessment. Just looking at map data just from winter to spring, we had 15 out of 43 students that scored at the 50th percentile or higher on the NWEA map. We had 16 out of 43 students that were closely approaching that proficiency level on the map assessment. So that's 31 out of 43 students that was very close to being proficient or above. 37 out of 43 students made positive growth. Our MAP assessments not only assess their achievement, but it assesses how much they're growing. So 37 out of 43 of our students had positive growth on the reading assessment. And of those students, 25 out of 43 made expected or above expected RIT growth. So we saw some really good results for just 12 weeks of this tutoring program. This program has quickly gained some people from the state are kind of looking at what we're doing because it was kind of an out-of-the-box, innovative way that we chose to use our HIT grant money. And so a little celebration that we had just planned at Westwood actually turned into a really big deal. We had several members from the Department of Education in attendance, as well as the dean from the College of Education and Health Professions attended. And you can just see some pictures from the event that highlights our students and their tutors. It was a really special day. All of our first grade students left their celebration with a book that they were able to pick. Also, one of the representatives from the company flew in. She lived, I think, Idaho or California, but she flew in to be part of the event and is donating some books to our district as a result of the celebration. Any questions about the grant?
Is it a one-time?
I am actually in the process of getting ready to apply for it again. We are looking to expand the program to other elementary schools that have pre-service teachers or interns. And so on Friday, I am meeting with their liaisons and the principals of those buildings to see interest in participating in this. Okay, I want to give a couple of very special recognitions. 3 of our middle schools were redesignated recently with the Arkansas Diamond School to Watch. And just a little bit about the designation. According to the Diamond School to Watch program, a school that is given this recognition is one that is conscientiously moving to fully meet the national endorsed criteria for high-performing middle schools. It's also a school that has made marked progress in meeting all of these criteria, including measurable gains in the academic achievement of all students over time. These schools serve as models and mentors for other schools seeking to improve, even as they continue their own efforts as a Diamond School to Watch. There's a lengthy application that our schools have to submit, and they do undergo a site visit by the Arkansas Association of Middle-Level Educators. And they are looking for exemplary practices in developmental responsiveness, social equity, and academic excellence and organizational structures. So congratulations to Helen Tyson Middle School, Hellstern Middle School, and Sonora Middle School on your redesignation as an Arkansas School to Watch Diamond School. Also want to congratulate Sonora Middle School. Sonora Middle School just completed year 2 of the PLC cohort project, and at the end of year 2, they applied for and were just designated as a promising practice school for the PLC process. Schools that are designated as a promising practice school demonstrate a commitment to the PLC at work process, implement those concepts for at least 1 to 2 years, present clear evidence of improved student learning, explain the culture, practices, and structures of the school, and submit it for consideration to the PLC Review Committee using online submission process. And this is the first step that schools take to become a model PLC school. So we're really proud of Sonora Middle School. They accomplished a lot in 2 years, so congratulations to them.
Phyllis? Got a few things to report on.
Well, good evening, Board. I just wanted to share some highlights from the spring and some events that we've had. So we just recently came through Draft Day, which was April 9th, and that's a CTE effort across the state with Arkansas State Chamber, and we partner with our local chamber, and that event allowed us to have approximately 300 students go through that event, and we've got a short video clip that highlights some of those areas.
Back and bigger than ever. Customized for you and your future.
Today was actually awesome, talking to the different companies. My mindset really grew that we can, as young people, get interviews and get really good paying jobs straight out of high school.
A career event packed with opportunities to unlock what's next.
Most kids our age still don't know what they want to do after high school, and it's so close. So having this opportunity gives them like a stepping stone for themselves. Like, oh, I have more options other than just going to college.
Strategically matched with employers to fit your aptitude and interest. Draft Day is like none other. Real interviews, real opportunities. Your future begins here with Be Pro, Be Proud, Draft Day 2024.
325 roughly students attend that event. We had approximately 50 companies from across the state who were here. You saw the Learjet, Dassault Falcon was one of those companies. It's an aviation company from Little Rock. I got to get a lot of credit to some of our lead people in our buildings who really helped facilitate that through their department heads, and that was Maddie Still at HAR-BER, Nick Rhodes at Archer, and then that was also Kim Blackston at SOI, Kelly Williamson, and then April Reed and Karma Weiss at Springdale High School. They were really instrumental in helping us pull together those students. There's a lot of logistics of moving them back and forth to that event, which was housed over at the Springdale Convention Center. Out of that, we're tracking the data, but we were able to get students placed with different companies. And we were looking at a number that today is sitting somewhere between 40 to 45 students. So that's life-changing. That's spanning from medical to advanced manufacturing to skilled trades to entrepreneurship to business sectors. So that event is really takes the next step from the career day to matching them to the employer and giving them a chance to do at least 3 to 4 interviews and come out of there with some good opportunities. So that was a huge event for us, and that led to our signing day that we just came out of May 2nd, and that's really another of those people that I mentioned, plus some of our assistant principals who are very instrumental in that. We had locally roughly 25 companies represented, 70 plus, and we're continuing to sign students every day with different companies. There's one of your own products that owns Northwest Arkansas Steel, and he's really becoming involved with us. So that's some of the students who've signed to go to work with them. They've come from all across the district. Multicraft is obviously a big partner with us and continues to grow with us as we move forward. I thought this was really neat. We're really working to grow our own teachers. So we're really pushing the intro to ed pathways, the continuing educational development, partnerships with post-secondary partners to continue to groom and grow our own product within our district, which I think is going to be very beneficial for us in the long run. So Ms. Fink has been very instrumental with us in that, developing positions for IAs. So our students can take the parapro assessment and the paraprofessional, and then they can launch into that IA role and gives them practical experience. We also have some ability to work in the realm of the state has developed an apprenticeship track for teachers, so that will allow some of our employees to track in that, but also students who graduate. So there's a next step for them, and that's a college piece that goes with that, so that's something that we continue to grow. The young man that you had up in front of you doing the pledge, I thought it was really timeful that he spoke. You asked Mr. Ramos about that journey to become a journeyman. That's a 8,000 hour endeavor, and so when he starts working, he'll put in roughly 1,200 hours over 4 years of technical instruction plus 6,000 hours of work experience. We've translated that into post-secondary credit, so he can, if he chooses, he can take that once he gets that licensure. He can take those apprenticeship hours and move them into a degree track with NWAC, up to 30 hours of concurrent credit. So that's a big move for our students. We're also working, we do a lot of pre-apprenticeship instruction. So we're working to create agreements with these companies who have the apprenticeship schools to launch our students more quickly into that growth path, to give them 3 to 6 months of experience for what they've gotten in their pre-apprenticeship training here. So we're continuing to work those efforts. These career tracks with these companies, as they develop, they get the journeyman, they can move forward to a contractor. A master electrician that's a 10,000 to 12,000 hour person. So there's a lot of education, a lot of timing that goes into that effort. So that was really neat for me to see this young man up here that's giving the pledge today. Legacy, the banks are really starting to partner with us on internships, those different developments. The medical group from Mercy was there. So we continue to evolve as we move forward. Advanced manufacturing was there, which is really, again, the robotics is timely because that's a great precursor to how that launches you into automation and advanced manufacturing. And we work to develop the next step. You start there, that's the hook. How do we take you to the next level, right? To launch you in between. So those are things that we continue to hone through our different programming. This is APAC, the skilled trades. The young lady on the left, she impressed Murray Klein and his team so much that he put her in a truck. After 10 days, she's out surveying for them full time, so on her own. So they're going to send her to some further surveying schools, develop that in her, and continue to create placement opportunities for her. So, it's really since COVID, age limitations are not as big a factor for us as they were. It's really opened the door for a lot of our students. The young man sitting on the right is on one of the construction crews. I spoke to him last week, and his take-home pay is pretty amazing. It's over $2,000 every 2 weeks, and he's working really hard. He told me for the first time that his family have been able to pay all their bills, so that's a life-changing event for him. They are already moving him to a lead role. We were able to get some MSHA training for him, so that's a surface mining certificate that most of the companies require if you work in that industry. So really, we always look for a path of progression for our students. How can you go from point A to point B and continue to move up? How can we create more post-secondary opportunities for you? These are just a few of our partners. These continue to grow. We have roughly 70 plus partners that we work with, and these just continue to evolve. We have more and more people coming to our doors, which I think is really incredible. that speaks to your vision and foresight into this realm as we continue to grow as a district and launch into our CTE pathways. These are some of the things that we're ongoing in our efforts to show students and parents what opportunities are in the district. So we're doing a lot of summer camps again this year. Some of the ones that are not on here is an automation electrical camp that we're going to do. Last year we did a couple of all-girls welding camps. We're going to redo those again. We had a lot of really good interest in that. So we'll continue to develop those as we move forward, and the whole goal is to give them a precursor to what that can lead to and help their parents and them understand what the training opportunities are, then the post-secondary piece, and at the end of the day, what's a professional pathway or career, right? Where can this take you? So that's it. Any thoughts or questions, comments?
Thanks for helping provide opportunity.
Oh yeah, it's a team, so I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Cleveland, Ms. Smalling. First item that I have to present tonight is the April 2024 financial statements. Page 2, you'll see our revenues. We're still in line with where we thought we would be. Actually, you'll see this on next month, but I'm pleased to say that with the collections that we've got on our taxes for May that will be posted on May's financial statement, we're about $1 million ahead on our current tax collection. So I was really pleased to see that today. So overall, we're running about the same as where we were this time last year. Of course, the next couple of months, we'll see a lot of those final numbers come in as far as state programs that we get revenue from. Also, I'm not real sure of the reason behind it, but the excess commission that we usually collect has not been calculated, or the numbers have not been finalized for Washington County. Usually by this time we will have it already. I spoke with the CFO at Fayetteville earlier this week, and he had talked to them, and they said that they felt they were assuring him that we would have that by the end of this fiscal year. So they'll send, usually we get the tax revenue about the 10th of the month. Excess commissions could come in anytime between now and the end of the fiscal year. So we could have it by the end of May, or it might be in June before we receive that. On the expenditure side, we are still okay. We're winding down the end of the year. And so I feel very comfortable with meeting our goals for that. You'll also see on Fund 4, the final payment that we will make for this fiscal year for our bond went out earlier this week. And so you'll see that pop up on Fund 4 for next month. Also attached is the check register in full with the additional information as far as to kind of help you determine what those expenditures were for. And then at the very end is the summary of the credit card expenses. And so do you have any questions on the financial statement for April?
Anybody? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the financials as presented. Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson and a second by Mr. Owenby to approve the April financials as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Thank you. The next item is approval for a related party transaction with Anna Summer. She's an employee at Don Tyson School of Innovation. It's to provide a graduation floral arrangement for DTSOI. She is an owner of a small florist, and she's providing that at a lower cost and in a timely manner. This will be just for this year only. Normally we do these for 2 years, but we're going to amend that resolution. And so the part of the contract that says from May 14th, 2024 to May 13th, 2026, we'd like to amend that to one time only and have the board approve that transaction for this year.
Is there a reason not to just go ahead and do it for 2 years, just in case?
Well, typically what this is for is limited and unusual circumstances is the reason why we approve this. This one, just from the timeliness of when we received, of course, it was under the $500 minimum, so I did not receive a copy of the purchase order because that's below the threshold for me. And then also, we did not receive this paperwork to even know that this transaction was out there until end of last week. And so with the timeliness of graduation coming up on Friday and supplies having been ordered, we just felt like that it was prudent for us to approve it for this year. But since there's so many florists and other availability to fulfill that order, that we didn't feel like it was prudent to do a 2-year. Does that make sense? Did I explain that properly?
Make a motion to approve related party transactions for Anna Summer.
I have a motion by Mr. Ramos and a second by Ms. Creek to approve the related party transaction for Anna Summer. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
My first official duty.
Yeah, go Debbie.
The second item on my agenda is a related party transaction that includes Mr. Emerson, which for those of you that are watching, that's why Mr. Emerson has stepped out. This is for a transaction with Gibson Real Estate, potential transactions. Gibson Real Estate would represent the district in selling property at a below market rate of 2% commission. Standard rate is usually about 6%, so they've offered to discount that significantly. This would not be an exclusive agreement with the district and would only be utilized when it's in the best interest of the district to use their services. Estimated dollar amount of the transaction would be approximately $200,000, depending on the number of transactions that would be incurred. The reason why Mr. Emerson stepped out is this is considered a related party because this is a family member of him. It's his brother-in-law and sister are owners of Gibson Real Estate. And again, to reiterate, they've agreed to only charge us a 2% commission versus a 6%, which is well below market rate for a seller's agent commission. And Mr. Emerson is a 1099 independent contractor from time to time for Gibson Real Estate, but he will not be paid any commission in relation to transactions with the district. But we just felt like that this needed to be submitted for your approval, for local approval. With the dollar amount of the transaction potentially over $10,000, we are requesting local approval first, and then if it pleases the board to approve that, then we would submit it to the Commissioner of Education for approval at that level.
Any questions?
No, I'll make a motion to approve the related party transaction for Mr. Nick Emerson.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Hutchinson, a second by Mr. Ramos to approve the related party transaction with Nick Emerson, with Gibson Real Estate, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
I have to vote, so aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
The next item on my agenda is, or on my portion of the agenda, is the salary schedule adjustments for the 24-25 school year. At your place, I have put, this is the presentation that I gave yesterday afternoon to the Springdale Education Association and both the certified and classified PPC groups. And so to start with, I want to give a little bit of a background information as to where we are or where we think we're going to be for next school year. So we have some good news for 24-25. As you are aware, we had a countywide reassessment that happens every 3 years. So Washington County completed theirs last year. And as a result of that, we believe that we'll receive approximately $3.8 million in additional tax revenue. This is from the increase in property assessments, property values that homeowners and commercial property owners have experienced, and as well as newly identified properties. On the next page, there, with every bit of sunshine, there's a little bit of clouds. So due to the significant increase in the newly assessed properties and the property values, we're limited to 10%. So the state law required that our millage be rolled back this calendar year for 2024 from 40.5 mils to 39.8. And so that rollback equates to a loss to the district of $1.8 million. So we had a gain, but we would have had more of a gain had there not been this law on the books that required the rollback. On the next page, we've continued to experience declining enrollment. This is not just a Springdale issue. This is a statewide issue. We've seen some of our neighboring districts are also experiencing this as well. So we went back and looked to from school year 2020 all the way to current year 2024. Overall, there's been a decline by 510 students. So when you take that by the next year's state foundation funding amount, which is $7,771 per student, we're anticipating that overall we've experienced a $4 million decline in revenues. I had a teacher ask me yesterday, what are the reasons for that? And I don't really know. There's lots of different things that play into that. One of our concerns are the education freedom accounts that lots of people took advantage of last year, and they are expanding the eligibility of who is eligible for that program for this next school year, and they are also expanding the number of scholarships that are going to be available under that program. And then, of course, for school year 26, as we look forward, there's not going to be any limits on who is eligible for those programs. So we are just kind of monitoring that because we don't really know what's going to happen from that going forward. But there is some good news. So foundation funding is increasing by $153 per student based on what we think our student average daily membership is going to be. We think that's going to be about a $3.3 million increase in projected revenues for school year 24-25.
So a 700,000 net decrease, is that right?
We've got a 7.1 million increase of net revenues over from
Well, I just
last
mean
year.
between the 510 students we're losing
Oh,
to the gain of 153 per student. Is that,
yes. So new expenses that we're going to have to take out, or that we're proposing be taken out of that $7.1 million increase in revenue. Of course, we've got our step increases that were already built into our salary schedules for certified. We think that's going to cost about $1.2 million. On page 7, we wanted to add an additional step of, or not additional step, an additional $600 to the base of the certified salary schedule, and that would be at a cost of about $1.3 million. That would break our starting salary, our base starting salary of $53,600, which would essentially put us kind of second on starting salaries in the state. Finally, we want to increase all classified salary schedules by at least 50 cents per hour. There are some other areas, there's some pockets that are listed on the memo that I sent to Dr. Cleveland. There's some pockets that when I compare the districts that are adjacent to us, there's some groups that are not comparable in their hourly rate. We kind of backed it all down to an hourly rate to review. And so there's some specific salary adjustments that are more than 50 cents per hour, like our journeymen for maintenance. In order to get them where they're comparable to the other districts, we need to increase that by $1.75 per hour. There's secretary, registrars, and district technicians, that's IT technicians, an increase of $2 per hour. That would get them where they're comparable to the districts that are close to us. And then our bookkeepers in the central office, about $2.50 per hour increase. The other thing that we also looked at is our nurses. Right now, we just have an LPN and a RN lane for those ladies. We have, I think they're all ladies right now. So one of the things we've looked at is the pathways to how they get to their certifications that they have. And so what we're proposing is changing that from 2 lanes to 4, in that we'll keep that LPN lane basically the same, other than the 50% per hour increase. We have some nurses that are either, they're called an RN diploma, it can be called an ADN or an ASN. Essentially, it's a 2-year education requirement to meet that. And then we also have the BSN, which is a 4-year, and then the MSN, which is a master's. And so what we're proposing, instead of having that 2 lanes like we have now, we would spread that out to a 4 lane, so that there is some delineation between the lanes based on their education levels. So all of that to say that would be, with the step increases and those salary increase proposals, we're looking at about $3.2 million to go for classified salary schedules. So that leaves us a remaining balance of that new revenue of $1.4 million. So if we go to page 9, this is something that I know that we have discussed previously, but as you are aware, property insurance rates increased significantly last year for all school districts and in the state. And so ours actually increased by $1.4 million over school year 23. We had $425,000 of that was subsidized essentially by the state legislature. We've been told to figure a 15% increase on top of the increase that we experienced last year. And as of right now, we have not gotten any indication that the state legislature is going to come in and do any type of supplement, or subsidy. So we're going to anticipate that we could possibly have an $800,000 increase in our insurance costs for our properties.
Stacy?
Yes.
Who was it that recommended that we plan for a 15% increase in the upcoming school year?
That was just what was recommended to us. I talked to AAEA, and they had visited with some of the people at APSIT, and just through our conversations with other business managers and the conversations with AAEA, that's what they recommended that we do.
Through the state or ASBA?
We are through the state. Mm-hmm. And my understanding is, of course, I know Mr. Emerson and I've talked about this, that they are doing an actuarial assessment at the state level from the legislative committees that I watched their meetings over. I think they had 2 large meetings that were basically focused on insurance rates. They have talked about bringing it all in-house where everybody would be with APSIT. They're saying that would more equitably spread the cost or among the districts. Not sure exactly how that's going to affect us as yet as we go into school year 26.
I think that's all been turned on its head recently, so.
I think so.
But anyway, yeah, we'll just have to see how it all plays out.
I'm very hopeful that the state legislature might come back in August and kind of subsidize that somewhat. But from standing here in front of you today, I don't think I can count on that. So from a conservative nature, I would rather.
I think it's a good idea to plan for at least 15% and then hope for the best.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly.
So on the $600 to the base, explain that to me, that goes on everybody's base?
That goes on the lowest base across all different lanes.
Okay.
All the lanes. And so it will roll all the way up through or down, however you want to look at that.
So everyone would see $600?
Yes, that's correct.
And then the step increases on the certified salary schedules?
Or
It's also 680, yeah. So it would be 600 plus 685.
Gotcha. So that in total is 2.5. Yep.
What was the percentage increase this year then? This says 15% for next year, but what was the percentage? Do you know that?
The percentage increase of our property insurance last year?
No, the insurance.
Oh, so we went from about, we had, I think in school year 20, let me get my years right, school year 23, I think our property insurance was about 800,000. And so it went from 800,000 to like 2.3. And then they came back in and subsidized the 425,000.
So 1.5 is after the 425.
They, it was kind of remarkable to me. They said that part of it was that we were now in Tornado Alley, and I grew up thinking we were always in Tornado Alley. I didn't know that that was a new thing for us.
I think also, Mr. Emerson, there are some issues about the deductibles. Now there's, what is it, Nick, 2%, something like that?
Yeah.
Per occurrence.
Yeah.
Some different changes as opposed to the $25,000.
Yeah, there's some language in our policy that is hard. It's hard for me to understand. Randy may be able to understand it better than I can, but I had a really good conversation with, remind me who you pointed me in.
Now you're going to ask me.
He used to be in Little Rock.
Yes, Drew Carpenter, who used to be over, was over the state for insurance for many years.
And he explained it to me that, which I did not understand this, but we are on a large policy. It is not just a policy for Springdale School District. So there's several districts on one policy that we share a policy with. And so there's some language in there since this change occurred at the beginning of this last school year when they increased from 800,000 to 2.3 million in premium. They changed the deductibles a lot. There's a max of what can be paid out. There's just a lot of stuff in there that is not in our favor. So, but at the same time, it's nearly impossible to find an alternative option.
Right. And my understanding, and Mr. Emerson can probably add to this, my understanding is that they're going to let ASBA write property insurance for one more year, and then the intention is to make everybody go to the state.
That's what it was, but now they've got another committee formed and another advisor coming in to talk about all that again because some legislators weren't happy with what they were seeing. I mean, there's only two places to get it. It's either ASBA or it's the state of Arkansas. The state of Arkansas, the theory is, should not be selling insurance when they're regulating insurance. That kind of, those things don't go together. You shouldn't be regulating it and selling it. And some legislators pointed that out. So now they're going back to square one now, trying to figure out, should the state be in the insurance business or should there be another solution? So that's why I said it kind of all got turned on its head in the last couple of weeks. I talked to Shannon with ASBA, who runs the insurance department, and she said that she's hoping everything goes like it's looking. She hasn't got her numbers back from Lloyd's of London yet, but they may not have any increase on the ASBA stuff.
Okay.
And ASBA's got about 80% of the market.
Sure. Well,
So, I don't know.
Right, and that's, it changes, in March when they had the first meeting, it seemed like it was a done deal that they were going to go to the self-insured, and they had kind of alluded to the fact that that was going to come into play for school year 25. But then a month later, they back off and they're like, wait, we're going to have an actuary come in and see if the rates that we've been charged historically are correct. And so it's moving, and so I have tried to watch, every time that I've been made aware that they were having a committee meeting on it, I've tried to watch it, and some of them I've watched twice just to make sure I haven't missed anything. So as we get more information, I'll be happy to share with the board.
So back to the salary, I got another salary question.
Yes, sir.
That's kind of what I did. So how, you mentioned one group of classified that we had to increase $2.50 an hour. Bookkeeping staff here.
Bookkeeping staff.
How did we get so out of whack?
Well,
Did we just now find that out, or?
I think that we have historically always tried to either, let's say, I'm just going to throw some numbers. Let's say for a while there, and this is just the history that's been related to me. For a while there, many years prior to Dr. Cleveland's tenure, if we gave the certified staff a 4% increase, we gave the classified staff a 2% increase. Then we moved to where if we gave the certified staff a 4% increase, we gave the classified staff a 4% increase. And so over the years, I couldn't find any, I just kind of started from ground zero in that I took all these different pockets of employees based on what their job is and what salary schedule they're on, and I compared it to Bentonville, Rogers, and Fayetteville, and looked at and pulled everything back to an hourly rate and looked at where did we fit, where did we fall? Were we the highest paid? Were we the lowest paid? Were we number 2? Were we number 3? And just kind of ranked it. And so what I found was in these particular pockets, we were either 3rd or 4th in the pay scale. And so Dr. Cleveland and I met, and we just kind of felt like we needed to level that up so that it was more comparable to the other districts. And then my thought process was this year we've kind of trued things up, and so maybe for the next couple of years we can go with just a percentage increase that would match.
Yeah, and I don't ask you these questions because I think we need to pay everything we can pay, but that's
sure.
If you equate that out, I mean, that's $5,200 a year. That's a very nice increase for whatever group that is.
Right.
However many of them are, but yeah, if we had more, I'd give them more, so.
I
It's
agree.
not my
If
reason.
I had that 4 million and that 1.8.
That's a pretty big jump for a group, for a
It is,
classification.
and so the history that I've been told is that, you know, and I know I'm this way personally, is that you want to make sure everybody else is taken care of. And so I think that there's always been a little bit of hesitancy to increase those folks downstairs. And so I just kind of wanted to try to make them equitable to the other districts.
There were just bigger gaps, and the gaps
There were just some bigger
different
gaps,
depending on which silo you were in.
Yes.
Thanks for explaining.
So at the end of the day, that leaves us about 600,000 out of the new revenue. And so if you'll look at the very last page, that's going to be a tight fit, trying to make sure that we can manage the increases in fuel and supplies and utilities. And of course, fuel and supplies, we've still got to get our kids to school every day, and utilities, they charge what they want to charge, and we try to do the best we can.
Some history that I remember in that 12 years, we used to get a lot of growth money based on the number of students that grew. We never budgeted that. And so at the end of the school year, every year when we had those kind of increases, we split that up and we gave a retro raise. Y'all remember that? And then we would give the same raise for the next year. And that's what she was talking about. The classified certified staff would get a larger chunk of that. And classified wouldn't get the retro. They would just get the raise for the next year. And so our focus, just like yours has been, is we've really got to work on our classified staff too. Our district wouldn't run without classified staff either. And so our focus is to try to help them get to a position where they're part of the Springdale family to the point that they don't want to leave either. So I think this does this. I think this proposal does this. Our effort is to continuously try to be at the very top. But I think it would be poor leadership on my part to try to go anymore when we don't have it. And this is really tight. This is really tight. But I understand the board's position of, hey, we're gonna go. We're gonna try to get as much money as possible. I want that too.
So that concludes my presentation on this part of it.
Do you have any more questions or discussion? Motion? Yes, sir.
I will make a motion to approve the salary schedule adjustments for the 24-25 fiscal year.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Hutchinson and a second by Mr. Ramos to approve the salary schedule adjustments for the 24-25 fiscal year. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, board. Thank you.
We got one that likes it. No, a lot of districts are still struggling with just offering 50,000 straight across the board, just a little bit more. So we're very fortunate, so thank you all.
All right, hello, board, Dr. Cleveland. The first thing I wanted to ask is if I could get permission to meet with the city on closing Center Street, right at the north end of the football field. I highlighted the yellow part. So we're really, our schedule over there is moving good. So it would help us if we could close this down to prep for the future building projects. I've had a preliminary meeting with Patsy Christie. It went well. There's quite a few steps involved into closing this section of the street. But the city is willing to help us get that accomplished if you guys are okay with it. Okay. Is
Center then gonna continue in that little piece, or is that also gonna just?
Yeah, so we have that parking area on the north side of the 1000 building. So that would leave access to that parking. And then the future indoor facility we would build, there would be a parking lot across from that. So you could get into the new parking or into the 1000s. And this also leaves Kansas Street, so you could go from Huntsville into our parking lot or over to Virginia Street to cut down by the Smile Center. So it's really just closing the end of that north zone for when we do the future building. It'll make it safe for the kids and the staff to cross. We'll be able to fence that off and really secure that whole area. But if we did go ahead and close it now, we would go ahead and block off the street and then remove all the asphalt and get some green space. As you know, I'll show you in some pictures, but we're raising that field. So we're trying to get the elevations set on this phase, so when we start the other one, we don't have to redo anything. We've added some new electric service and some new water on this project that will actually feed into that one when we're ready to start that project. The process should take, depending on when we take it to the city, about a month to complete.
So really, this request is just permission to ask the city.
Yeah. I had a preliminary meeting with Patsy, but if you guys are okay with it, I'll get into it more and start pulling together everything needed to make it happen.
This is gonna
Do you need a formal motion to move forward or just our blessing to go forward?
Yep, just your blessing to move forward. And we own all the property right there now, so should be pretty easy.
Go forth and do it.
Yep. Okay. At George Elementary, they're making a lot of progress over there. This is actually the cafeteria. They're getting, most of the above ceiling is completed. We're on track to get the cafeteria and the gym right around school ending. So hopefully we can move everything into those areas and do what work we need in the original building. They've set the generator that'll run George. They're feeding all that into the electrical room now. They've got all the curbs in and all the base in, getting ready for pavement to go in.
Will the new cafeteria have a stage area like all the other cafeterias?
Yeah, it'll have a stage area. There'll be a music room that has a link to that stage area. And then, so the main work over there, that kitchen, we're gonna pretty much flip the layout of it. We're gonna move the freezer cooler and move the serving line to the opposite side because the cafeterias are swapping sides. And the old cafeteria will become the library. And then the library, we're gonna make into 2 more classrooms. So that'll give Mr. Swope some more classroom space. Because right now he's got some mobile classes that move and stuff. So it'll help him out. This is the entrance to the gym. They're getting ready to start putting those external panels on and finish that up. This is the new gang restrooms. They're starting to put tile on. They'll start putting fixtures in this and finishing that up. So, they're making good progress at George. Southwest is the same way. Alan took some of the staff over last week and let them walk through. So it's moving. We've got some temporary CFOs, so we're going to be able to start moving staff, all the staff belongings and all the furniture and the equipment out of the kitchen as soon as school gets out.
Jeremy, did you have good feedback from the staff?
Yeah, Al didn't make it over there. We had a lot of things going, but Alan took two different groups of staff through it. Everything, they all really liked the space. Actually got some good ideas for some of the furniture that's in the original building we're gonna move over. We'll probably end up putting most of it upstairs for the first part of the summer till we can get all the C of O of the whole building, and then we'll put it all in place. So the big push over here is the utilities right now are overhead. As soon as school gets out, we're gonna disconnect the original building. I took a big generator over there. We're gonna refeed in the old building on the generator. So we'll have lights for the asbestos abatement and so we can remove all the material we wanna keep out of it. And that'll take about 2 weeks. I'll have about 5 days to get all the stuff out of it and everything we want, and then about another week to set up for that demolition to start. But this is upstairs, looking out. They've got the covered area on. They're doing the final floor polishes on all the concrete. This is the auxiliary gym, and they actually have some of the main gym floors on it now. This was a couple days ago, they were prepping the subfloor. This is the band room. They're putting all the Tectum panels on. They've got ceiling tiles and lights going in. So they're making a lot of progress. This is upstairs looking down one of the halls. They're putting in the pendant lights, just finishing up all the ceiling tiles, putting door hardware on. They'll be ready to switch over to our keyway probably in the next 2 weeks. At Springdale High, so these pictures they're about a week old, but all the turf's been removed on the football field. Scoreboards are removed. They actually put the monopole in today for the new video board. They've got all the electric pretty much stubbed in. The water's stubbed in. Where the old locker room was, there's a compaction issue there. We're worked through that yesterday and got that going, so they'll be filling that in, getting it ready for the new bleacher piers, and there'll be sidewalks over that area. There's another view of it. But this project, they're making a lot of progress on it. If we can get it to stop raining for a little bit, they'll make a lot more.
I was over there today, and it was like ants everywhere.
Yeah, anytime it's not raining, they're getting a lot of work done. They can't get a lot of big semis out on this when it's really wet. But they're making all the connections. We have found a few issues once we started digging in here. They're working through those as they find them. That's where the wrestling room was set, and so they had to undercut that about 6 feet. So they're going back in it with base right now.
That's where the really bad soil was, right?
Yeah, it's really soft. You couldn't do it when you did a roll test. You were getting about 6 inches of. You would sink down about 6 inches in spots. So they're going to let it dry up. We're going to add some geomats to secure that up. But it's not too big of a deal.
I also was told today they were putting the new lights up. They were putting the LED lights on one side.
Yeah, so they're doing the monopole today, and then they started on all the LED lights on the field today. They'll have those done probably this week. I'd have to get an update for sure, but they go pretty quick because we're using the same poles, same crossbars, just changing out the fixtures. On the tennis court, this is the south set of courts. The poles are in, all the post tension's in. They had to take some density samples there, which they were going to do that yesterday afternoon or this morning. And then once we get that data back, it's ready to pour. And they were planning on pouring that Friday. And then once they get that poured, then they will finish out the north section and get all that leveled up, put into grade, and all the infrastructure in. But it looks really good over there. We did have to extend those courts were kind of diamond shaped, they weren't square. So we had to extend that pad to the south and the east about 1.5 feet to square it up. Central Junior High, I just took one picture. They've had a lot of demo going on, but that new CMU wall there is actually a brand new wall that closed in the auxiliary gym. It had a temp wall up, but we had to demo down the old building to put in the footings to hold that wall. And then they've started putting footings in for phase 2. So phase 2 will pretty much take off all this area you see, and then it'll turn and go to the west, out to where the tennis courts are. That'll actually be the kitchen and cafeteria right there. So now they can start all the footings and get all the mechanicals started and really get on to phase 2. That's all I had. Do you guys have any questions on any of the construction? We do have.
Baseball and softball scoreboards look awesome.
They look good. Donald was out there today, getting some video of them. They're complete at HAR-BER. Springdale High, we completed on Sunday. We got that all finished up. HAR-BER football field, we've took down the scoreboard. It's gone. I talked to Fimple about 4:15. He was out there marking the spot for the new monopole. They're gonna start digging that one tomorrow. So they'll put the monopole in, concrete it in, and then the next day they'll start putting on structure. It will probably be done by Sunday. These crews, they come in stages, and they'll work through getting the physical sign up, and then once we get the data and the electric done, my crew's doing that. Then another crew will come in and actually get it all up on the network. They'll work with Paul Miller, and then they'll get Donald out there and do some training on it. They put the monopole in at Springdale. We needed it in before we start adding the dirt. We had to set that level before the field got added onto. And then the HAR-BER Arena, still got some structural approvals to get done, but we're close. The boards are ready to go. My guys have started putting in conduits into those to get the data and the power, but we're just needing a few more approvals to make sure the weight of the scoreboard will work with the structure that's there. Otherwise, we'll have to build some trusses to hold it. But so we're getting close. We should finish all of them up. I'm hoping by the end of July they'll all be done and functioning. And then we had 28 buildings that had hail damage on the roofs. So we've got probably about 80% of them done. We'll do the other 20% as we're actually started Archer this week. And then we've got Hunt to do, and then just a bunch of just cafeterias and little sections all around the district. But that should all be done by school starting.
I guess maybe the work session that we're trying to create, one of the agenda items, I think, for that will be to look at a schedule, maybe, of when to have some grand openings. And we have a lot of grand openings this next year, which is a good thing, but it'll be a little bit of time. You know, the new arena, the new athletic facilities at Springdale High, Central Southwest. There's just a lot, George. There's just a lot. Another thing, too, just on the side, if it's okay with you, we're having some issues with this elevator in this building. And Jeremy has a schedule. If you want to tell them about it, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, so we're gonna start at 7:30 in the morning. This elevator's it's outdated, they don't make parts for it anymore. So anytime we have issues, we have to just scramble to find used parts to get it functioning. And needing to get ADA access here, we've been working on it for about 6 months to get it scheduled. So at 7:30 in the morning, we're gonna close down the basement entrance. We'll still leave it passable if we have an ADA need, but we'll start down there. We can't just change the elevator. We have to bring the building up to today's code instead of the 95 code. So there's about a month of upgrades to do in this building before the elevator starts. So next month, we're gonna move the board meeting to a different building. And then I'll have everything done by the
Yeah, if it's
end of-
okay.
end of
We're
July.
thinking about just right next door, same campus, in that cafeteria, if that's all right with y'all.
That'll also give me time, we're gonna do some work in this room. So, we've got that scheduled, new carpet, so that'll give me.
Strobe lights and.
That'll give me time to get it done.
Spotlight for the president.
Yeah, we can put a spotlight on the president.
Well, they've worked, I don't know if you can tell, but they've worked on the audio and visual and everything over there, so there's some more of that cabinetry that needs to be prepared too, so we'll have that all ready. Hopefully by the July board meeting, the 16th works for you all, and then we'll be back in here. That gives us extra week as well.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, thanks.
Okay. SCA, on the way.
Apparently I was sitting so long, my hip decided it was done for the day. Good evening, school board and Dr. Cleveland. My name is Valerie Hanna, and I am the SEA president and also a teacher here in Springdale. We want to start off by thanking you for the increase in the certified steps. We are aware that in these uncertain times that a commitment to increase can be very frightening, but we appreciate that you have chosen to make our educators a priority. We especially appreciate the hard work that Ms. Hopkins put into our classified staff to make sure that every group was being paid equitably to other school districts. We know very well how hard our classified staff works, and we are glad to see that they are going to be appreciated. Or that they are appreciated. They're not going to be appreciated more, let's put it that way. We were also very excited to find out that our SEA treasurer, Ms. Loretta Manzel, was awarded Teacher of the Year at Bayari. So that was exciting for her. And if there are any, we haven't heard of any of our members getting that, but if they are, then we're obviously very excited for them. And finally, in the last couple of weeks, our scholarship committee was able to meet and select 3 recipients to the SEA Future Educator Scholarship. These are students that have made the decision to work towards a degree in education. And the committee was very excited to find 3 very worthy applicants. They came back and said that they found 3 really good ones. And I was going to tell you who they were until I heard one of the high school principals mention that their scholarship thing was tomorrow, and I went, I probably shouldn't announce the winner before the winner is announced. But we did select one from DTSOI, one from Springdale High School, and one from HAR-BER High School. So all 3, that is where the 3 scholarships went to. So that is all. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Do we have any patron comments? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Patron comments, miscellaneous, adjournment.
Committee reports.
Thank you for coming. Try to get better every meeting.